I've got another story. This one is, I'm going to just say out straight away, disclaimer, this is not high quality listening or viewing for the audience. This is what I would call, look, I'm just going to be honest, it's a toilet story. It's toilet humor. So if that's not your thing, I would say keep rolling onto something else because this one is, look, it's not my best moment. It's not something I'm proud of. But I would like to say it was a long time ago. All right. I was young. I was foolish. I was immature. I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm not proud of the fact that unfortunately, this is a true story. So, yeah, sorry, Mum. Sorry, everyone. But if you've made it through my introduction here, this is how the story goes. So it starts. I was hanging out with my mate, Ragdesh was his name. We were mates from I went to high school with old Ragdesh, and this was not long after we were out of high school. I think we were still on our P plates. We were still sort of learning to drive, and we had these 4-wheel drives, and we loved to go off-road mudding in the 4-wheel drives as you do. And so I was hanging out with Rags one day. We were kind of, I don't know, we're messing around with our 4-wheel drives, and we were after a bit of duct tape. I think we just wanted to, stock up our vehicles. So we did it. We did a trip to the hardware store. We went to Bunnings to buy some duct tape, as you do. And so Ragdesh I had been over at Ragdesh's house, and as you can probably tell by the name Ragdesh, Ragdesh was an Indian man. I don't know where he's from in India. Sorry, he has told me. Sorry, Ragdesh. Should know that, but I don't. And I like to call him Rags. I'm just going to call him Rags. That was our nickname for him. So I'd been at Rags. We had Indian food for lunch, which was very nice. Mrs. Ragdesh's mum, had made us Indian food, and it was real good. It was real good, real spicy is how we like it. How the Indians truly like it. They like it'll knock your socks off, that stuff. So beautiful bit of Indian tucker. Me and Rags ducked into Bunnings to buy a bit of duct tape. And so look, Ragdesh and I, we were just sort of perusing through the aisles of Bunnings. We knew where the duct tape was, but it was a Saturday. We were in no rush. We were sort of just hanging around, looking through all the tools, everything. We're going to eventually make it to the duct tape and then go on with our day. But as we were perusing, and we happened to be in the paint department. We were in the aisle of all the paint. And Ragdesh, he dropped his guts. He unleashed the winds of glory times 10. It was the worst smell. This fart that Rags did, it haunts me to this day. It was so bad. And we were just sitting there looking at paint. Next thing you know, I almost threw up. It was horrible. So we had to vacate the paint aisle pretty quickly because old Rags had mustard gassed everyone in there. And as we were kind of walking out of the paint aisle, a group of special needs people came into the paint aisle. There was 4 or 5 special needs people, and then there was who seemed to be their teacher, the person that their caretaker for the day. I'm not sure what you call it, but they walked into the paint aisle. And as we walked out, we saw them coming in the other end, walking in, and we looked at each other and was like, oh, they are going to cop that. And they really did. Some of these people, they were gagging and as we ducked around the corner and we started cacking ourselves, Rags and I lost the plot because, look, we knew what had happened. We knew what they'd just walked into. And look, it wasn't humane what had been done to these people, but look, that's what happens when I'm going to be honest, anytime you go in public, you're saying to everyone else in public, you're running the risk. It's not illegal to fart, right? Anytime you're in public, you're running the risk of smelling another person's fart. We all fart I'm pretty sure everyone farts in public. Don't tell me you've never been in the aisle of a shop, no one's been around, and you've just squeaked one out. Everyone does it. I've done it, you've done it. Let's not pretend we don't. And I guess these poor special needs people, their day had run out. Their luck run out, and it was their turn to get a whiff of a stranger's ponga. So, Rags and I, we are laughing our heads off, kind of trying to stay calm. And as we're just cacking ourselves, Rags, he suddenly, he goes all quiet, and he looks at me and goes, "I've got another one in the chamber." The way his eyes lit up, there was no stopping him. There was absolutely no stopping him. We'd been fresh off of this hot Indian lunch that Rags' mum had cooked up for us, and Rags was firing up a storm. It was a tornado coming out the wazoo of Rags. So obviously, I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't have protested his plan and what he just did. But before I could even say anything, Rags had he'd just taken off around the corner, and I kind of just instinctively followed him, and I knew what was about to happen, so I did an extra kind of run a couple steps to get in front, because I did not want to get crop dusted with what was about to happen. And as we kind of wandered through this group of special needs people who were innocently, I suppose the first one had kind of dissipated a little bit, and they were looking for some paint, I suppose, for a paint project they were doing. Rags and I kind of just sort of politely went around the outside, me first, and then Rags behind me, and completely silently. Rags did this so beautifully. He didn't give himself away at all. But we went through the aisle, through the pack, got to the end of the aisle, and around the next corner, I turned around and he said, "Bomb has been planted." Rags, what have you done? So we kind of hung around just the corner of that next aisle, out of sight, and just listening out. We were looking at each other, just listening for the pain that we'd caused. I know, this is cruel. I'm not proud that this happened, but I'm afraid it did. And I don't know what we're expecting, but we hear a girl start crying in the aisle. Not funny. I'm not laughing. A girl starts crying, and then another one starts crying, and we are holding it together. And then this girl starts crying. We're like, "Oh, what have we done?" We're like, "All right, we probably should get out of here." As we walked past the aisle, on our way to the end of the door, on the way to the door, the end of the shop, we looked in at the group, and a guy was throwing up onto the floor in the paint aisle. Two girls were crying, and look, we promptly vacated the hardware store. We really did. We had to get out of there ASAP. We didn't buy the duct tape. We completely forgot about everything. We got outside, silently got in our ute and drove home. And look, it took a while. We honestly felt kind of bad for probably an hour afterwards. We didn't laugh about it. We genuinely felt bad. Looking back, yeah, look, it probably was kind of funny. But I'm not proud of it. But unfortunately, that is what you get up to post-Indian meal. Hanging out with an Indian man, nicknamed Rags. I mean, what do you expect? But, yeah, look, not proud of it, but that's what happened. And I hope you found that entertaining. Peace.